What do we think about this? People in the chat, people in the house, what do you think about this? Do we trust Trump? Do we trust Trump? I don't want to say we, I mean you. Do you trust Trump? That's a hard one to say, trust Trump. But this is the cool one. This is the main kind of takeaway for me. So it says, this is from Bitcoin News, a sponsor of the show. It says after his meeting with Bitcoin mining execs, Trump says he wants all the remaining Bitcoin to be made in the USA. So this is his post. I think this must be on Truth Social. Yeah, Retruth. So it says, vote for Trump. Bitcoin mining may be our last line of defense against the CBDC. True. Biden's hatred of Bitcoin only helps China, Russia, and the radical communist left. We want all the remaining Bitcoin to be made in the USA. It will help us be energy dominant. So, I mean, I don't know. I think this is a much, 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 much bigger deal than the average person thinks. June 11th, 2024. I think that this is the spark. This is the spark that really pushes things in a totally unprecedented direction here. But a couple things here. So I know that there's people who watch the show who suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. And that's okay. That's okay. Forget the word Trump, forget the person. Let's call him the most influential person on the planet. Let's call him that instead, because he is. So Trump, I know that there are a lot of people with TDS, but the first part here, Bitcoin mining may be our last line of defense against a CBDC. So Trump has spoken numerous times against the central bank digital currency, which is a huge deal. He said that under him, there will be no central bank digital currency ever. He actually said no central banks too. And if you think back to when he was president from 16 to 2020, he actually had a big picture of a guy in the Oval Office. He had a bunch of pictures, but they all meant something, I think. And one of the pictures he had of a former president was Andrew Jackson. And if you're not familiar with Andrew Jackson, it's probably worth taking a little bit of a stroll down the rabbit hole on Andrew Jackson. I'm not familiar enough to really speak too much on it. I just know that under Jackson, I think that was the last time they stopped a central bank under Andrew Jackson. I'm pretty sure he got shot. I don't think he got assassinated, but I think he got shot. So Trump has always been against the central banks. Trump is the reason I even knew what a central bank was, honestly. And so that's the first part here, is that he's totally against central banks. So without even Bitcoin in the picture here, that's a very net positive for the world. If we can get rid of central banks, that's what Bitcoin's mission is, the white paper, to separate money from state. And the second part here, made in the USA, help us be energy dominant. So do you notice how he said made in the USA, not mined in the USA? I think as soon as the average person out there hears the word mine, Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin has been mined, they get confused because it doesn't really make any sense how you can mine something that's not physical. So Trump has always been, to me, one of the greatest marketers in history, and he knows how to communicate to people. And so he says that we want all the remaining Bitcoin to be made in the USA. So when the average person sees that or hears that, they're like, what the hell does that mean? How do you make Bitcoin? But then they actually look into it, because when they hear mine Bitcoin, their brain shuts off. But when they hear made in the USA, which is like something that we've gone away from since the Bush-Clinton era, where they sent everything overseas so they could continue the inflation without us really feeling it. But getting back to a world where things are made in the USA again, including Bitcoin, huge.